Arkansas weather.
Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy sky. There is a chance of a few isolated showers. The storms may drop into the upper 60s to low 70s. Thursday, lots of sunshine, a high approaching 90. Friday, back to sunshine, our high on Friday, right around 95 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
KOY.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 63 days.
When my teams win, 6 guys get drafted. How about we win to a Final Four? We win a national title. All 6, 7 of you were each. We're going to have 4 in this draft. If we'd have won 3 games in the NCAA tournament, we'd have had 6, maybe 7 in the draft. Winning matters.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
You heard John Calipari there, your new head basketball coach on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. It's nice to see Cal. I used to hate with a passion the Kentucky car wash, the John Calipari car wash back in the day. But it's basically what you got yesterday. He was on McAfee. He was on the draft. People were talking about him. As Reed Shepherd went number 3 overall. You had Rob Dillingham, who was drafted, I think it was by the Spurs, but traded the Timberwolves. That's the important thing. So there's always something to discuss when John Calipari is in the public eye, as he often is. And he usually doesn't disappoint. Didn't yesterday. He was with Pat for about 30 minutes, chopping it up with him. Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana Pacers guard, former Iowa State Cyclone, was on the show. I loved it. I watched it. It was great. We're going to play some more stuff from that this morning. Dave Van Horn and some other stuff as we get going here on 8-2 Stupid Thursday. Plus, I've got some pretty funny stories to get into as well. Hey, what do you want to bet on? You want to bet on some MLB? You want to bet on Arkansas games months away? I think we're either 64 or 63 days out. I think it's 63 now from Arkansas football. The Bet Saracen app. It's Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. You make a little wager, not just on Arkansas sports. We've got a lot of tie-ins here. That's the great thing about the Bet Saracen app. They have Arkansas-specific stuff, but they also have the upcoming NFL season, the upcoming college football season, of course, MLB, World Series, all that stuff that you can bet on. Find it on the Bet Saracen app. It's easy to download, and it's easy to find. Go to BetSaracen.com, and if you need to figure out kind of how to play on Bet Saracen, there's a really cool video on there featuring Jancy Sheet. So, what did you think about last night? Did you watch the NBA draft? I don't blame you if you didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I told Chuck earlier this week I was excited about it. I was bored last night because they kept calling players I had no idea who they were. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I knew a bunch about Luka Doncic. Didn't know anything about Nikola Jokic, who I think was a second-round pick by the Nuggets a few years ago. Dirk, when he got booed back in the day. But nearly a third of the guys last night are foreign-born players. And that's not to say that they can't have success and they aren't going to be vital parts of their team. Even OKC drafted a guy I'd never heard of. I'm so used to watching college basketball that when I see all these teams draft, again, they're doing what's best for their franchise. I get that. It's not stupid for GMs and executives and owners to say, this guy can help us more than this college kid, whether he's a young college kid or an older college kid. Because I think what's happened is European players, not just European players, but players outside the States are more refined. They're more crafted. They learn the fundamentals not just better, but quicker. And there are areas of the grassroots of high school and AAU and other parts of basketball in the United States that should concern people relative to where basketball was outside of the United States but before. But the big topic from last night is the fact that, again, nearly a third of the first round, back-to-back French players drafted overall. I guess Sarr was also from there. And last year, you think about Wembanyama, I guess the United States is going to have some competition against France in the Olympics based on just the draft picks and whatnot. It's not frustrating, but I'm just like, this isn't interesting. I want guys I know. Like the fact that Dalton Knecht went, I think, 17 all the way to the Los Angeles Lakers, it's way down there. That's a kid that dominated the Southeastern Conference. No one could guard him. What do you hang, like 32 in Bud Walton Arena? I know Arkansas wasn't going to be on center stage from a player standpoint. Now, I mentioned Cal, very much in the fold of last night's NBA draft. Rob Dillingham and Reed Sheppard. We still got Reeves, still got Edwards. So I'm excited to see where those guys land. But, man, like, I don't – my thing is just the unfamiliarity. And that's what, like, in college basketball to a certain extent, I think it's harder to, not just in college basketball, but college sports alone, it's harder to latch onto a player because in some cases they're only around a year. Like Arkansas baseball, I think, just got a recruit that has been at 2 or 3 schools. And if he can help you have success and win, you take him 100%. Just like you would a one and done. Even if he's only there 1 year, you take him. But it's harder for fans to, again, gravitate to that said player in college when they're not around that long or they didn't grow up in this thing. You're just unfamiliar with them. And I think it's harder for fans of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Memphis Grizzlies, Dallas Mavericks. I'm just kind of thinking regional teams to us, in addition to like Boston and Los Angeles, because you're just not familiar with these players. Every Boston fan knew who Larry Bird was coming out of college. Every Los Angeles fan knew who Magic Johnson was coming out of college because they were there at Indiana State and Michigan State for quite some time. And then they got drafted by each of those franchises. And the same could be said about guys, the select few that are around the block a little bit, and then they get drafted. Not that, again, Houston fans aren't pumped for Reed Sheppard. Reed's a little undersized, curious to how he plays in the NBA. I know that for the most part, he dominated the SEC. Had a terrible NCAA tournament game against Oakland. I hope him success, even as a Kentucky Wildcat. But that's where we start this morning here. Too Stupid Thursday. Dave Van Horn had a chance to talk with us yesterday. Shared a lot, and I mean a lot. Kendall Diggs, basically torn labrum, front and back, a good chunk of the season. I remember him talking about it, and I was always curious how much that was a hang-up for Kendall, who just did not look like the same player we saw the previous 2 years, specifically last season. Well, apparently that's why. Apparently there's also still a chance that he comes back, which I found interesting. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Curious to see if we see Kendall Diggs back in a Razorback uniform. Dave also shared some stuff on players. He can't fully dive into some of the players that they've recruited just yet because of, again, NCAA rules, but mentioned a few other things, touched on Tony Vitello and the Texas A&M stuff as well, which Jim Schlossnagle has since spoken with the media in Texas, and curious to see what ends up coming out of that story. First off, who A&M's going to hire as their head baseball coach, and he ended up publicly apologizing to that young reporter. I think last name Zane. I don't think it's Robert Zane. I can't remember the kid's first name, but Richard Zane, I believe it is. Ended up apologizing to him. So we'll get into that because I have some thoughts on that. I think Chuck will as well. If you haven't listened to Chuck's podcast, he really gets into that. Not just that, but just the addition of Texas in the league. Here's the thing about Texas. I want you to go back to your high school days for a sec. You remember that really hot girl, the drama queen, that everyone was curious about? All the guys were into, all the girls wanted to be. She was nuts, like nuts. No girl you'd want to bring home, no girl you want to marry. Kind of like Texas. But that's the perfect equivalent to the Texas Longhorns, the drama queen of your high school. It's fun. You may hate them. They may be you know what, but it's what they bring to the table. Hey, this morning we are brought to you by our friends at Joe's Grill and Cantina. The best Tex-Mex, best service is at Joe's. Fajita Friday. That steak, that chicken coming with your fajitas and all the extras and all the fixins. Saturdays are made for endless enchiladas. Yes, endless. They don't even cut me off. They make them endless. Come see us, Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith. All right, let's get into a story or two next. Too Stupid Thursday. What is a story that you've seen that's stupid this week? How about a mom trying to say that she's owed for having a play date?
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Hey, this is Montague Brown, the former Razorback, and you listen to the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the hogs, Chuck! Give me the hogs! Get up to $6,000 off on the 2024 GMC Sierras, or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,000 off, or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren. Hey, Ty Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town, and they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work. work.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey and Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey and Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Every time you kiss me, it's like sunshine and whiskey.
The sign of a smart man is to understand that things change and to roll with those changes. And Ty, I applaud that you've done that.
Jones has an alley, and he might go. There's a flag down. And Felix Jones is gone. Goodbye.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
You're Clay Henry there. Mr. 70. Turned 70 yesterday. Hopefully his birthday celebration went good last night. Apparently Gene Ann had been planning it for quite some time. I had forgotten about this piece of audio that was put on social media by Bo back when Clay would appear regularly on his show. I'm going to share it with Chuck coming up, as I think Chuck will get a kick out of it, as I did when I re-listened to it yesterday. So we have that to look forward to, as well as a story or two on Too Stupid Thursday. And let me tell you, it's going to be stupid. I'll tell you what's not stupid is getting fireworks for the upcoming 4th of July festivities next week. So whether you're doing it on 4th of July, next Thursday, maybe you're doing something this weekend or the following weekend, USA Fireworks is your number one stop. Now, we have the second annual USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway right now. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks for your chance to win a $2,000 fireworks show. $2,000. Go to their social media, our social media. You'll see how much $2,000 worth of fireworks is. It's nuts. Make yourself the hero. The dad of everyone's dreams, the cul-de-sac king. Again, USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway going on right now at hitthatline.com. And for wholesale prices, Chris Brewer basically slashing prices left and right for all you folks that are heading up the organization for your fireworks event this holiday season. Go to usafireworks.org and contact them about wholesale prices. All right, let's do it. Let's get into a Too Stupid Thursday.
This is Too Stupid Thursday on the Morning Rush.
He's stupid. Okay, stupid.
All right, Big C, I want you to listen to this. Now, you're not a father just yet, but there are many listening right now that are fathers. This mom invoiced another mom for a play day. I believe it's a New York mom. Based on the food that was spent on the kiddos, the time, where they took them. And so she invoiced another mom like $15 an hour for this play day. Now, again, you and I don't have kids, have not been blessed with children just yet. But we've been on play dates where we've gone over to our friends' houses and hung out with them and our friends' moms. Never in my life, at least that I remember, maybe it was kept behind closed doors. Probably someone had to my parents probably had to pay someone else to keep an eye on me as I was a knucklehead, as most of you were back in the day. But that seems out of left field and seems like it's perfect spot for Too Stupid Thursday.
Yeah. Hey, you shouldn't have to pay somebody to watch your kid. This isn't just a regular babysitter, is it?
No, it's a mom to mom. She invoiced another mom.
Yeah, that's odd. That is odd.
Yeah. I think it's a situation where there has to be some sort of reasoning. And as we continue on in this world, it seems like we are drifting more and more away from any logic, reasoning, society, or anything, or social norm whatsoever. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised at this, but I saw that headline, and I thought it was quite stupid here on a Too Stupid Thursday. Maybe again, for the parents out there listening, if you want to jump in on the McClarty Dinner Hotline, you can do so at 877-377-6963. There's probably that one kid or two that you don't want coming over to your house that is a menace to society. Maybe it's your own kid, if we're being honest. Maybe it's your own grandkid that it's a little over the top. His or her antics can drive a adult person nuts from time to time. And you're not exactly telling your kid, hey, you should invite them over 24/7. But I don't think it's necessarily something you should invoice another parent or grandparent for having.
Tells me her kid is very badly behaved.
Or she just needs cash to hit up the latest wine bar or something. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. I just thought it was a funny story that we could share here on a Too Stupid Thursday. Also want to share with you some of the things that John Calipari, Dave Van Horn had to say yesterday. Dave was with the local media. John was with the national media. We're going to get a chance to talk about that with Chuck coming up. I want to start with Dave, and I realize that we're a long way off from baseball, but I think that, again, Dave said some interesting things yesterday, and I think that we'll get to there. There's a lot of clips that we might have some time to get to it later on, but it is something that he touched on. Jim Schlossnagle, he touched on Kendall Diggs, he touched on a bunch of stuff yesterday, and we'll do that coming up. There's a bunch of clips that we had to get, so we'll start with, we got some Cal clips right here, so we'll start with that first. John Calipari, I want you to listen to what he said stat-wise. This, of anything, there was 30 minutes he was with McAfee yesterday. Listen to what he said about his guys drafted, the percentages that he rolls out here on ESPN.
70% of the players that we recruited in the last 15 years have been drafted. Damn. 73% of those 70%, Tyrese, have gotten to second contracts.
Jeez.
I believe we have 30% of the max contracts are my guys. 30%. Our kids have earned over $5 billion without endorsements, just NBA contract. And the great thing about NBA contracts, Tyrese will tell you, they're all guaranteed. The minute you signed it, that's what you're getting.
So it's a really unique setup yesterday. McAfee does that show, I guess, in Indianapolis. Tyrese Halliburton was there, Indiana Pacer, former Iowa State Cyclone. And I thought it was cool because he interacted with both McAfee, his guys, and Tyrese Halliburton, who was a stud college player, now a stud NBA player. And Tyrese, who didn't go to Kentucky, I think that Cal actually chose Tyler Hero over him, was like, yeah, everything they say about Cal is true. So you got even a non-Kentucky guy, a non-Cal player that's endorsing him on live television. I thought it was great. If you want to listen to it, you can go to YouTube and just type in John Calipari on Pat McAfee. We'll get into some other clips along those lines this morning. We're going to talk with Chuck coming up as we get ready for football season. Nearly 60 days out. You want to plan where you're going to be this fall. And now you have a better idea, right? The SEC has released the schedule early, so you have an idea of when Arkansas is going to play. Look no further than the Inn at the Mill. Off the Johnson exit off I-49, great location, great spot, and a great hotel. Homemade cookies, Jennifer and all of them at the team over there, great customer service, 479-443-1800, or visit inatthemill.com for a great stay in Northwest Arkansas, right in the center of Northwest Arkansas. Chuck joins us coming up. We'll get into Cal, we'll get into Dave, and more on a Too Stupid Thursday.
What's up, everybody? It's Peter Burns for the SEC Network. You're listening to The Morning Rush. Yes, sir.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Hey, this is former Razorback Jalen Williams, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Riley.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% and welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot.
It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill.
So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas.
Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. The Razorbacks were down like 20 points, and I was watching the game with a friend of mine. We were like in high school. I said, if Arkansas comes down and scores right here, we're going to come back and win the game. Of course, I spoke with the confidence of a prophet that Arkansas was going to come back and win. They did. Sidney Moncrief led them back, and they came back and won.
I love those predictions that we make as kids that end up coming to fruition that we don't have a lot of knowledge on, but every once in a while they come through. Chuck, I don't know if you were listening this past segment, but one of our stories here on a Too Stupid Thursday is this mom sent an invoice to another mom for having to watch over her kid. And I don't know if you were the type of kid that was good when you would go over to parents' houses, or if you were the one that the parents were like, Chuck's coming over. What are we going to have to do?
We played in the yard. You know, we were never in the house back then. So I don't know that parents even cared back in the day. Not that they didn't care. It's just that, again, you weren't in the house. They didn't have to deal with you. You played outside. If it was cold, you played outside anyway.
Good old days. I will say I hated it at the time, but I will give my dad, Baylor Brad, credit. He limited us to an hour of screens a day, and we had to be outside the rest of the time. And that was, even though at the time I hated it, it was good that I was always outside doing something from that standpoint, because kids nowadays will just game for 8 straight hours, it seems like, Chuck.
Well, I guess so. They do. That's for sure. We didn't have that when I was growing up, so it was a little bit different era.
Well, speaking of games, there was a game played on these very airwaves back in the day involving Clay Henry's birthday. And I don't know if you've heard this. We'll do that coming up. Clay's 70th was yesterday. We've got Cal stuff to talk about, NBA draft last night, Dave, Slosh. There's plenty of stuff to get into this morning, and we've got it all for you here on the Morning Rush. Hey, before we get into Clay's birthday song, APAC Arcola has job openings right now in the Boone, Marion, and Baxter County areas and Northwest Arkansas. So if you're a licensed CDL driver, you're a heavy equipment operator, diesel mechanic, electric, or you have any paving or concrete labor experience whatsoever, apply today. Jobs.crh.com. They offer top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer. So Chuck Clay embarks on another decade of his life, and we had a chance to have him yesterday on his birthday, which was kind of cool. You've done radio with him for years. I had forgotten about this clip and about this birthday song back in the day. Bo and Saw and Bart on Bo's show had him read his birthday song. And for those that haven't heard it, it's pretty stinking funny.
My, music makes me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, let me bust the funky lyrics. You can't touch this. Why you standing there, man? You can't touch this. I'm a genie in a box. Got to rub me the right way. I shake my tush on the catwalk.
You know, one of the things I love about Clay, Chuck, and you know this better than I would doing radio for so long, he's so self-deprecating on himself sometimes, and he's willing to take a punch on air every once in a while. And I can't remember if I was interning at the time when that happened, but I definitely do remember him doing that. And I think I was listening live, and I was crying laughing. But that's Clay Henry in a nutshell, man.
Yeah, we've had some fun times over the years on the air, that's for sure. And I know Bo and them did too, and yeah, that is good. That is good, that's for sure.
Well, it's all about rapport, right? And I think about the rapport that guys have had for a certain number of years, or guys that are having in change. And it changes depending on where you're at in either your profession or how much reputation you build up. John Calipari's built up quite a reputation, and it is one that was on full display last night, not only on the NBA draft, Chuck, but on Pat McAfee, who they built a good rapport together with their staff. I thought one of the things that he said yesterday I thought was interesting. I never thought about this perspective, but sometimes just winning helps guys get drafted a lot higher and a lot more.
When my teams win, 6 guys get drafted. How about we win? Get to a Final Four. We win a national title. All 6, 7 of you were eat. We're going to have 4 in this draft. If we'd have won 3 games in the NCAA tournament, we'd have had 6, maybe 7 in the draft. Winning matters.
Winning matters, Chuck. And listen, he's talked about numerous NBA. We'll get into more some of his stats coming up. But I never thought about it from that vantage point until he kind of shared it last night. He's won a national championship. He had a bunch of guys, AD, Michael Gilchrist, and others that were drafted off of this team. But that is, many people believe that part of why some of the guys are drafted more is just because of the success that his teams have had, not just Kentucky, but Memphis as well.
Well, I'm sure organizations like people that have won. Just like, I'll draw an analogy to when the Razorbacks sign a player. You'll hear, particularly if he's won from a program that's won state championships, the first thing you'll hear a coach say is, hey, he won a state championship. We like guys who like winning. And so, yeah, I think that's got something to do with it. Look, if your team is 13 and 18, it doesn't mean you won't get drafted, but it means that you're certainly not going to be watched on television at least quite as much by everybody else. And, there may be 2 or 3 other guys on the team. If you're a great player, you'll be drafted. But if you're a player that might not otherwise be taken, it could sometimes, I guess, tilt the balance.
A little bit. They just like having that as in the background, knowing that you can win. And he mentions, you probably have more guys drafted out this team. Unfortunately, they lost to Oakland. You still had Shepard going number 3. Dillingham ends up going, initially the Spurs gets traded to the Timberwolves, I guess. You're going to have him and Anthony Edwards together, which should be a really exciting backcourt. But he wonders if some other guys outside of Edwards and Reeves might have been drafted, which honestly, Chuck, you think about it, the 3 guys that came over to Arkansas, that could be a blessing in disguise that they lost so early, because maybe Wagner, maybe Thiero, and I'm forgetting the maybe Big Z, maybe they try their hand at the NBA off the bat if that team goes a lot farther, and there's a lot more, I guess, thought that those guys should be drafted a little higher from their background and stuff.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't think they. I don't know. We'll never know because they didn't win. I have to say I'm struck though. Number one this year, and I know the draft analysts say it was a weak draft, and I'm struck by how these franchises take chances on some of these young players. And look, I'm not picking on Reed Shepard or Rob Dillingham. They're great players. But I sure, when I saw him play, didn't think, man, he's going to be the 3rd pick in the NBA draft, and Dillingham's going to be a top 10 pick. Boy, that was striking to me because Rob Dillingham, to me, looks like he's about 13 years old. Yeah. I mean, when you're up close to him on the floor, it's incredible. So maybe I'm just getting older, and that's why they look so much younger. But it's striking to me how at 19 years old these kids are thrust into the limelight, and they are kids, and they are thrown money, and it's an incredible thing to watch because, look, their lives and their families' lives are transformed. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a great thing. But I'm just struck by how young these kids are now.
Yeah, I think the deal with Shepard, he has a 42-inch vertical leap, which is, that's.
Oh, I know why they want him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying top 5 pick.
I think, Kentucky Nation is shocked. I agree with you. And the thing about Dillingham is, and they talked about it, and McAfee kind of asked Cal about it, or one of McAfee's guys did, is like, what if you're an exec and you saw a guy that couldn't defend a lick all season? That's Dillingham's issue. It's not the shooting. It's not the offense. He can't guard anyone. What makes you think he can guard better players at the next level?
Well, let me go back to the fact, Ty, that they're so young.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't give up on them. They're not the finished product. When someone says of an 18 or a 19-year-old he can't guard anybody, first off, yes, he can. He just can't guard as well as maybe some of the elite guys out there. He can guard somebody. And what he's going to be like as a 23 or a 24-year-old, in terms of guarding somebody. He's a whole lot different than what he is now. Guarding somebody is not what got him to Kentucky. Guarding somebody is not what made him a high school All-American. So I think he'll be fine as an NBA player. It's just that there's going to be more development time required for him and for Shepard and for all these guys. I mean, look at the numbers of players that were taken from abroad. They may be more polished. I don't know. But it just seemed to me as though, watching parts of it last night, it was very much a developmental draft. I mean, Dalton Connect may be able to help the Lakers to an extent, but of the guys that we've seen, and there were a lot of them we've not seen. I'm going to venture a lot of them we've never heard of. But of the guys we're familiar with, and I say this respectfully to Shepard and Dillingham, I think Connect's the one that's probably the most NBA ready. But those other two guys probably have more long-term upside.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I was surprised that he fell all the way to 17, and I bet Los Angeles was sitting there like, absolutely. So that is, I think, a situation that he's in a good spot. Now, in terms of the draft overall, Chuck, I found it interesting. We mentioned the first two guys off the board, both from Friends. Like last night, they make the first pick.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Zachary Rizache from Lyon, France, and Francis J.L. Boron-Bress.
Yeah, you had his jersey already, didn't you? No, household name. Household name.
And that's one of the issues I brought up and I think is important. Listen, franchises want to win. And Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, like there's been some really good international players. But the issue I think that the NBA is facing is no one knows who these guys are. And it's easy for me to connect with Oklahoma City because of Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe, even Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I watched in college, Cason Wallace, because I'm familiar with, and Chet Holmgren. But when you draft, and again, you want to win. That's the main goal. It's kind of like the catch-22. Like players just aren't fans just aren't familiar with these guys, and it's like nearly a third of the drafts last night, Chuck, was from foreign-born players, which I found kind of interesting.
Well, the NBA's been it's been a league that's been, I won't say dominated by players from other countries, but they've certainly been, they've been MVPs. So this is all the product, in my estimation. This is all the product of the Dream Team.
No question.
30, I guess it's been 32 years ago now. Nobody knew who Luka Doncic was. Nobody knew who Nikola was, Joker. Nobody knew who he was. I'm still not sure what his name is. We didn't know these guys when they were drafted, and they've become stars, and that's how it works now in professional basketball. It's how it works in professional sports. The NFL is trying to grow its product. You think that 20, 30 years from now, if they're as successful as the NBA, and I don't really think they will be, but if they have even a measure of that success, you think we won't see foreign-born players in the National Football League? We already do to an extent, but we'll see byproducts of growing the game internationally. You see it in baseball. Quite honestly, I'm old enough to remember when the NBA was by far and away the least of the three major professional sports. It was Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the NBA, believe it or not, 50 years ago. The NFL was not at the top of the heap. But the NBA was a distant third. And with the exception of Bird and Magic, when they were playing, and obviously Jordan when he came along, those were stars in our country. But it was the Dream Team that took the NBA and the Jordan brand and some of the other guys to places that perhaps the game was still very fledgling. And those players, they were inspired by that, and they play the game well. They are fundamentally sound in many respects, and but they've also got a flair about them. And I think they've added a lot to the NBA game. And, Wemby had a certain amount of success with San Antonio this past year. And evidently go back to Tony Parker, the game's gotten pretty good in France, apparently.
Yeah, the French connection is strong there with getting the number 2, both top picks this year, last year. That was a big start. And the Spurs really as an organization with Manu and Tony and what they've done from an international standpoint, those are just probably the 2 most prevalent in this case, but definitely have stood amongst the NBA teams in that regard. Text here from Jeremy in Clarksville on the McClarty Daniel hotline. He didn't think that anyone did better than the Portland Trailblazers, who took Donovan Clingan. They added more than 20 wins this last season. That was a team that was terrible offensively. He thought it was one of the best draft nights for a team in a decade. Now, that is the same team that passed on Michael Jordan, so the Portland Trailblazers, and they drafted Greg Oden over Kevin Durant, which is another misfire on their part. But evidently, Jeremy thinks they did a good job last night, Chuck.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I didn't keep up with the Blazers last night. But Klingan's a good player. Klingman, he was very good, and he'll do well for them. But I got to be honest. I didn't really keep up with that part of it.
Well, I know you kept up with the New York Knicks, who made a blockbuster trade yesterday, and I found it funny. So there's 2 reactions. There's 2 reactions I want to play from Stephen A. Smith. Both are pretty entertaining. When this trade happened, he was very forthcoming how happy he was about it.
Yes! Now, I know that y'all are sitting out there and y'all saying it's Mikal Bridges. He's a good player, but it ain't like you got KD or somebody. Bump all that, okay? Chemistry matters. Reliability matters. Consistency matters. Defense matters. The brother can shoot. The brother can play. I'm sorry. I like this move by the New York Knicks. He's young. He's energetic. He's seasoned. He defends. And he fits right to the culture of the New York Knicks. And that's all I ask.
Now, parallel that, Chuck, with what he said about the Villanova guys from back in the day.
Villanova doesn't have a real NBA prospect on their squad.
He was talking about Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart. Everyone's wrong once in a while. I get that. But it's just funny to listen to him, how excited he was yesterday. And then, I guess, 7 or 8 years ago, whatever it was, how he was like, there's no one really on this roster that's going to do anything. And now they're all Knicks, man. They're all in your squad, baby.
Well, back in the day, you could say things, and there wasn't any kind of it wasn't always taped. Now you say stuff, and it lives forever. So that's just sort of how it works. Hey, for those of you who are buying or selling a home, looking for a home, first time out maybe, or you've been transferred, or the kids have moved away, you're downsizing, or the family's grown and you got to move up a little bit. Whatever your situation, I'm gonna recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, to you. I do it because of my experience, from the first time around right up to the point we are now. And the great thing about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is we were able to establish a relationship the first time out, and it's gone on for what's turned into decades. And I know a lot of people have had this kind of relationship with them because they've been around for a long time. And when you build relationships, when you listen to people, when you find them their dream home, and I know that's a cliche, but it's real. When you can find that for someone, that's how you become a lifetime partner. And then it's going to come time to sell, may come time to move. And the great thing about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is they can do it locally. They can help you wherever you're headed. And what you're going to find, I think, is what I found, what Ty found, what lots of people find, that you are dealing with real estate professionals, and they're going to get you from contract to close. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson. You're going to see their yellow signs all over town, and you can log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
Chuck, knock on wood, barring something crazy happen, we close on Tuesday. So,
well, good for you. That's great.
I'm hoping that ends up, knocking on wood, hoping that happens. All right, so we had a chance to listen to Dave Van Horn yesterday. He talked with the media for like 45 minutes, and I think I learned, not that I don't listen to Cal or Pittman or anything, but I think I learned more about just the team and the organization, and I say, than the other two just from Dave. And one of the things he shared yesterday is just kind of about what's going on in recruiting. We're talking about the activity in the NBA last night leading up to the draft. There's been a lot of activity for Arkansas baseball. You got a commitment from Landon Beidelsheets, the Ohio State pitcher, Aiden Jimenez, the Oregon State pitcher, Rocco Pepe, the one of the recent commitments, and now you're still wondering, hey, what about Texas A&M? What about Texas kids? What about those guys? What stood out to me from Dave yesterday is he said how much players are getting now for this stage. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it, Chuck, but he was like, he's talking about $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, which is pretty wild.
You got to be able to hit it over their head. You got to hit some home runs. You got to have some power, but you need some athletes in there that can steal a bag when everybody knows you're going to steal. And we're working on that. Definitely something that we feel like we're addressing. And again, we got to get these kids to show up, and, we got to deal with, in some cases, the draft, because a couple of these kids are older. For the most part, it looks like we're going to get these new guys and some of these young guys and a couple of JUCO guys. We want to bring in the player that it's not all about the money.
It is a delicate balance because we saw LSU a couple years ago probably spent a good chunk of money on Paul Skeens and ended up netting a national championship. Tennessee, we heard Tony Vitello's rant, but when he said that, Chuck, $200,000, $300,000, I was pretty taken aback by that.
Now, I didn't hear him say that. Was that in that soundbite?
Yeah, I clicked the wrong one. Let me click the right one.
Give me the context.
We're still pretty active, honestly, but okay. I can't put a number on it because there's getting ready to be a lot more movement. You're going to see some movement from a couple teams in Texas, and some of them might jump from one team to the other, or maybe this is their time to get out and do something else, and there'll be some big names, but you're talking a lot of money for some of these kids that are going to be out. I mean, a lot. So I don't think people realize what's gone on the NIL scene in college baseball when you're talking $200,000, $300,000, $450,000 to get a player.
That's a good chunk. That's my bad for clicking the wrong clip. But when I heard that yesterday, I just kind of sat there because that figure is tossed around pretty regularly. And honestly, it's low for football. I've heard the $1 million or $2 million in basketball, but you heard it right there, and I don't think he's lying or over exaggerating on that. That's what it takes to get some of these premier players that are hitting the portal, Chuck.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I thought it would have been more than that.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I would have thought it would have been more, and I think in some instances it probably is. Look, and college baseball is going to have a reckoning on this.
Mm-hmm.
As these coaches begin to make more money, those players are going to be wanting more money too. And you look at, particularly with this Schlossnagle move, I just think it's a free-for-all now. I think it's become what college basketball and college football are, because we've seen a coach make a move with only his personal interests involved. I mean, this, and I'm not knocking the move. I'm just saying that, this entire situation has been, about that one guy, and those players, but they're all leaving too.
Yeah,
and they're all going to get big money, and again, that's a figure that. I agree with Dave. I don't think most people are aware of how much money's being tossed around out there. Hey, those kids are living better than you do.
Yeah, that's
and I mean, you have to stop and think about that.
Pretty wild.
They're asking you to give money so somebody else's kids can live better than yours. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, Laviolette, Grahovic, some of the guys that have hit the portal for Texas A&M. We are going to talk more Jim Schlossnagle coming up in just a bit. More thoughts from John Calipari. More thoughts from Dave Van Horn, and another stupid story or two here on a Too Stupid Thursday. We are off and running this morning. If you want to call or text us, give your opinion on the McClarty Daniel hotline, you can do so. Chuck and myself the next 2 hours. Stay with us here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
This June, celebrate Dad with the gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
This is the Morning Rush.
Get up to $6,000 off on the 2024 GMC Sierras or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,000 off or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
When it's time for breakfast, Calico County is making it all from scratch. You have the dedicated early morning crew at Calico are cooking up and serving buttermilk pancakes, moist biscuits, rich waffles, country fried potatoes, 3 types of gravy, and of course their famous cinnamon rolls and much more. They serve all of this and a lot more 7 days a week until 11 a.m. Stop in, call ahead, or get it to go. Or just come by and pick up a dozen cinnamon rolls for the office. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, or catering, roll on into Calico County. They're home cooking good. Calico County, just off Rogers Avenue behind Randall Ford.
Are
you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon will be into the upper 80s. Later on tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, and overnight low will drop down into the upper 60s. Friday, sunny skies, low to mid 90s. Saturday, we could see a few stray showers or storms across the north. Highs will be in the mid to upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 63 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
When my teams win, 6 guys get drafted. How about we win? Get to a Final Four. We win a national title. All 6, 7 of you were each. We're going to have 4 in this draft. If we'd have won 3 games in the NCAA tournament, we'd have had 6, maybe 7 in the draft. Winning matters.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
We heard from 2 Arkansas head coaches yesterday. That was John Calipari, your head basketball coach, on Pat McAfee. Also, Dave Van Horn closed out his season with the press conference before we don't hear from him till fall ball. Excited to share with you what both of them had to say as we continue on here on a Too Stupid Thursday. We'll touch on another stupid story or two. I know a lot of discussion has centered around Jim Schlossnagle leaving College Station for Austin. Even Dave was asked about it. We'll get into what he had to say coming up in just a bit. Before we do, I want to tell you about our friends at Pradco Fishing, who have the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspended Rattling Rogue, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, and the Yum Dinger. You can get all their lures at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, made right here in Arkansas. It's the best time for fishing. Make sure when you go fishing, you use a Pradco lure right here in Arkansas. So we'll start with Dave, and then we'll let Jim Schlossnagle have his piece or whatever. But this is what Dave had to say, and I thought it was funny. He mentioned the SEC meetings being something to keep an eye on when it comes to Jim Schlossnagle and that dynamic.
Like I said, you can see me. I don't know what to think about it. You can get involved in those situations. That all you have to do is make a call or send a text, and next thing you know, things are happening. But it's a tough situation when you jump from one school right down the road to another when they don't like each other in the first place. It's going to be interesting in our coaches' meetings. I don't know who A&M's going to hire. I just know our league is really, really good. And when Texas comes in and OU comes in this year, it's going to be even better.
Chuck, I remember when Schlossnagle got hired initially from TCU to A&M, there was some controversy around it, but not like this, man. I mean, it's one thing to see the dynamic between Fort Worth and College Station. College Station to Austin is a whole nother level.
Well, it's those who are old enough to remember the Southwest Conference know that this is the most bitter rivalry in college sports. And I'll say it just like that. It is the most bitter rivalry in college sports. It's the most bitter rivalry, whatever day it is later this week when Texas becomes an official member. It'll be the most bitter rivalry in the SEC on day one. And I say that with respect to Auburn and Alabama. And I know they don't think anything tops their game. But Texas and Texas A&M hate each other in a really special way. I mean, there's a special level of hate there that they have for one another that is not like what other schools have. There's not an ounce of friendliness to it. And they look at what Texas did. They knew exactly what they were doing when they fired David Pierce on the day that A&M was playing for the national championship. They knew the deal was done. They knew the next day Jim Schlossnagle was going to be their head coach. And they were letting the Aggies know they knew.
Yep.
I mean, they were letting them know. This is what's about to happen, fellas. And it was in a less than 24-hour period. It was like, hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed your time as the only Texas school in the SEC because Big Brother's back. And Texas A&M in one fell swoop was relegated to the same spot they'd held for 100 years. And that's little brother to Texas. And that's just how it is.
So when it became official, I received a text in our baseball group, and it was, can you imagine, now this would never happen, but just put on your craziness cap for a sec. Can you imagine if Dave Van Horn decided to go to LSU like the day after 2018? And I was just thinking what this fan base would do, because that is the only equivalent Arkansas fans could really have with what's going on in Texas. I guess you could say if he went to Texas, that would make sense as well. But I think about like the players. Obviously, A&M wins game one, Chuck, and then they lose the next two. If you're a Texas A&M player, my first thought yesterday was I never talked to him again. I know Laviolette and Grahovic and some of these other guys have entered the portal. There's a few others that are dynamic players. Probably Laviolette's the best of the bunch. He's in like the 300s, had 20-something home runs, just a dog. But I'd never talk to him again. I never would. That is to me.
Well, that's the fan coming out in you, though.
And
that's the fan.
But here's why. When I was reading, and I think Kendall Rogers is one of the best when it comes to detailing stuff in movement with college baseball or getting news whatsoever. But this was, according to his reporting, was done before like the Georgia series. So this was not just I know Del Conte and Schlossnagle said, well, it was just a Monday thing. We did it after Monday or whatever. That's not true. Everyone knows it's not true. That's just what they have to say to the media. That's why I would be so irritated if I was a Texas A&M Aggie, and I can't believe I'm sticking up for those guys, but I would never talk to him again because I think this was done well before Monday night or Tuesday morning, whatever it was.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not in total disagreement there, but Ty, let's not act like this just started. Let's not act like guys, players, coaches didn't start, just making decisions about themselves.
You're right. Yep.
What's the first thing these guys did when he announced he was gone? They entered the transfer portal. So I mean, it's not like they were, it's not like they're sticking around either. It's a transient deal now, and we as fans like to believe that the coaches and players love us as much as we love them. But here's the truth. They don't. And they're never going to. Some of them love you back. Some of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not casting stones. I'm not saying that, they should, that it's their obligation to love everybody. But some of them love them back, and those are the ones that become very popular with the fans. But it is a dog-eat-dog world. Look, it's the adults' fault. The adults are the ones that set the example. I mean, you think about Schlossnagle, and I'm not knocking him for what he did because I know this is how the world works. There's not any celebration of those Texas A&M baseball players. There's not any, lots of times if you play for the national championship, there may not be a parade when you get home, but there's a gathering of some sort. There's a reception. There's something. These guys don't get any of that. I mean, Schlossnagle ruined all that for him.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, literally, 24 hours, within 24 hours of the last out, the coach is gone, half the team's gone. So If anybody's got a right to be mad, it's the fans. It's not the players. Certainly not the coach. It's the fans.
And of all places, and I don't know how true this is, but Chris Del Conte, Texas's athletic director, said they met at a cemetery of all places. So I thought that's where they were kind of hiding out and doing that. I don't know.
Hey, if you watch the TV show Dallas, if you're old enough to have watched the television show Dallas, that's what Texas and Texas A&M, that's what this rivalry is. It's petty. It's mean. It's about money, power. That's how they roll. I mean, that's just how they do it. I'm not surprised at all by this. And every Aggie that's worth his weight right now has not slept a wink trying to think about how they're going to one-up Texas.
Get them back. It's
going to happen.
They got a coach to hire. And if I remember seeing this correctly, and we got to hit a break, but we'll come.
Go get Sarkisian.
There's more meat on this bone. But, hey, that game in College Station, I think it's November the 24th. I know it's baseball to football. But you talk about, I mean, the rivalry's already hiding. It's already
They already hate each other.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fireworks and craziness, like soccer related. All right, we'll get to our Morning Rush Daily question coming up. Plus, Tom Murphy next.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Daddy would kill me if I brought you home.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Arkansas! Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at precisiondoornwa.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Get up to $6,000 off on the 2024 GMC Sierras or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,000 off or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, gutters, or metal roofing, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating with Better Business Bureau. Superior Siding, your first call, 479-646-7888. 7888.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Wits Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Wits Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bushfield. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bushfield. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Light.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
It amazes me, some of the trends and some of the things that people do. This is perfect. This is a perfect Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question here on a Too Stupid Thursday. The term raw dogging flights. You might be wondering what the heck I'm talking about. Chuck, it's the idea of no screens, like no cell phones, nothing, no books, no food or no drink, going on a flight and literally just sitting there, not talking to anyone, not doing anything. This is now a phenomenon that males across the United States and I guess the world are trying to do to see if they can make it, whether it's a 45-minute flight, hour and a half, 3 hours, whatever. They want to say that they raw dogged a flight. So our Morning Rush Daily Question, could you survive a flight without your iPad, your iPhone, food, drink, a magazine, a book? My answer is no. I can't even go to the bathroom, Chuck, without my phone. Get it on Twitter. I know that's bad. It's not good for my brain and whatever, but I'm terrible at that. I'm looking at this. There's no way. There's no way I could do this. Could you raw dog a flight, Chuck, when you go
I hate
this
that
far?
term. Just to be blunt, I hate that term, but I've been doing it for years, man.
Have you?
I've been doing it. Oh, absolutely. Look, Ty, when I first started flying, and I realized there's a vast discrepancy in our age, or a vast difference, but there was no, you could smoke on a plane when I started flying. That's how long ago it was. There were no televisions or phones or anything. You either talked to the person next to you or you stared into space. Do you know how much, and you can't, but there will be a point in your life where the opportunity to stare off into space with nobody talking to you and nothing to do and no obligations, that sounds pretty good. Now, I realize at this point, and probably to the young person who wrote this story, that seems impossible. I think it sounds like the good life.
the good old days when you could smoke on a plane, you could have a cigarette.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, not having a device in front of you is okay. You'll make it.
Michael in Cave Spring says he was deployed to Iraq twice. That's an 18-hour one-way trip on a plane. I had nothing to help me out.
I was going to say, I'll bet those guys didn't have movies and, special meals and cocktails.
Terry in Decatur says it depends on the length of the flight. XNA to Dallas, yes. XNA to Los Angeles, probably not. Maybe I just needed to try.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I've flown with a team a time or two to Hawaii, and I can tell you that Dallas to Hawaii flight is that's a doozy. But no, going to Dallas or Atlanta, there's lots of times I don't watch a movie or anything.
Yeah, that is something that, again, it's a balance of the flight time, but props to some people that can do it. I can't. Maybe I should try it. I've got a Dallas to Santa Barbara flight coming up. Maybe I tried big time at some point. But that is your red.
Get you a middle seat. Don't take a device.
Yeah.
Find out what you're made of.
I gotta see. Gotta test my the good old days.
Test your mental health.
Yes. That is your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge is in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com. Hey, quick, before we chat with Tom, I don't know if you got a chance to see this yesterday, Chuck, but we had Brandon Rabar, who covers the Oklahoma City Thunder for the Daily Thunder, also appears on several radio stations across Oklahoma City and Tulsa. And I was just curious. Isaiah's yet to be picked up by the team option from OKC. Curious what Jalen looks like there. He was very adamant that both those guys are safe as Oklahoma City Thunder.
I think that Jay Will and Isaiah Joe are safe, first of all. Like I said, Isaiah Joe, I think he's invaluable to offense. For being, the smallest guy on the team, what he does defensively has been really impressive, too. He plays really physically. But Jay Will, it's a funny thing to say, but truly his locker room presence and the chemistry he brings, I think, is invaluable to this team. So I think both guys are safe.
I was, again, in the midst of these Oklahoma City trade rumors and kind of what they're doing. I had no idea. When they drafted their pick at 12 last night, I had no clue who he was. But obviously I'm partial to those two guys, and it sounds like they're both going to be Thunder players this next season.
Well, you have to understand the business of basketball. Just because somebody's not been offered doesn't mean that they won't be and that the deal's not already been worked out. And I'll give you an example. I'm a Knicks fan, and there's a player there named OG Anunoby that is a good player. And did you notice how that rolled off my tongue with ease right there?
He got paid.
OG Anunoby. But the point is, 2 days ago, there was a report that, the Knicks have made him an offer and he doesn't like it. And then he opted out. He opted out within 24 hours. And so from the outside looking in, it's like, in fact, I was from the outside looking in thinking, man, they got to get this done. And then I read a little bit about it and realized it was done, that this was essentially the shuffling of paperwork, if you want to bring it down to, most of our levels. And that's what is going on right now with those two. Their contracts may not be finalized and all the paper may not be shuffled yet, but they're going to play on that team. And to the point about Jalen, he can be this generation's Joe Klein, Andrew Lang, lots of Razorback big men who fashioned very good NBA careers. They may not have been all-stars, but they were NBA champions in some cases. Corliss came out with not obviously a lot more fanfare.
Yeah.
But there have been big men for Arkansas. Hastings was this way. That locker room presence, good franchise players. When you need to send somebody to a school, he's the one that goes.
Scott Hastings.
Those are important things, and that's how you keep your job.
Yeah, Scott Hastings is one of the best interviews I think we've had on this show. It was someone that I really enjoyed talking to that we had on a few months ago. I think after Denver won the championship last year. It's a good conversation, as well as what we're going to have with Tom Murphy right now.
Now, let's talk to Tom Murphy on the Morning Rush.
Tom, I want to shift back to baseball if we could, because I listened to Dave yesterday and you asked him some good questions. I want to start with Kendall Diggs, and what I took is one of the biggest things out of yesterday. Dude was playing with a torn labrum like a good chunk of the season, and there's still a possibility he comes back. Now, what did you make of Dave's comments yesterday centering around Kendall?
Well, they are interesting, and I think you over-touted him, man. I do not know how excited I'm going to be. We're in midsummer, and I've got like taking time off on my mind, so I hope I can live up to any expectations. But no, with Kendall, I think it was a matter of he probably was well aware. Here's the situation. Do you want to try to, you can play through this. Will it get just, markedly worse? No, not really. And he tried his hardest. He wanted to do it for the team and all. And then I think he also understood probably that, if I don't perform well, then, my draft value might not be what I want it to be. And so I don't know. He wouldn't obviously have as much leverage coming out after one more year. But sometimes kids super enjoy the college experience and all the accoutrement that comes with it. In the age of NIL, there's a little bit more inducement to stay in school.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see how that plays out, where he gets drafted and if he gets drafted, and what kind of signing bonus he could have, and then weigh that against making another run, what the roster composition looks like. They like the addition. Dave couldn't talk about the additions, but they like the guys they've added from the junior college or from the transfer portal. They've got some hitters and, base runners type guys and some pitchers already. And obviously their signing class is a good one too. So if they can hold it together, Dave seemed pretty optimistic about being able to hold together a large percentage of the class and move forward with, guys off the current roster.
And with Kendall, he mentioned Trevor Ezell and Matt Goodhart, some notable guys. I guess both. I think they're both. I know Matt was. I think Trevor was a lefty as well. So I'm curious if that kind of background entices Kendall to come back for Arkansas baseball another season. Now you're mentioning the recruiting trail, not just the JUCO guys, but you get the Beidelshees kid from Ohio State. You get Aiden Jimenez from Oregon State, and then also Rocco Pepe from, I think it was Long Beach and Fresno State, if I remember that right. They've hit on some big guys. Plus, you got these Texas A&M kids that have just hit the portal, like Laviolette and Grahovic. Dave said, sounds like they're still going to be active. Could they be active and maybe go pluck one of these Aggies, Tom?
I don't know what, if there's any type of relation there or, what. It was interesting to hear those names hit the portal. That's for sure. But now these guys are committed. The transfer portal guys are committed, but until they sign, they could get drafted at a certain and have a certain signing bonus offered to them, and they take it. They had someone do that last year, the pitcher, and I can't think of his name, but they had a pitcher that they had committed, and he ended up drafted, 9th, 10th round, and he went ahead and signed. So then it's not definite on some of those guys, and that's what makes you can tell Dave is clearly frustrated about the timing of the MLB draft, which he mentioned yesterday, which should have been now.
Yeah.
But they moved it into July, MLB did, to have it correspond with the All-Star game. And it really puts college baseball coaches in a tough position because you're trying to be true to what you tell guys from your current roster who are interested in possibly coming back versus your signees versus your transfer portal and your JUCO guys. It's a really, really tough balance for those coaches today.
I did notice that he did mention that in his press conference yesterday, amongst other things. Now, Tom, you mentioned getting some time off. Where are you planning on going now that baseball has come to a close and you've got some flexibility till fall camp?
Right. Well, it's tough for us to schedule anything before the end of the baseball season because you don't know if the Razorbacks will be in Omaha or not. And, in recent years, they've been to Omaha a lot. So I've made a couple of weekend trips to Kansas City. I like going there. There's a lot of stores and shops and restaurants I really like. But I haven't planned anything, a week long or longer than a week. And as you guys know, I'm a state capitol geek. And I made a quick run last year. I went to Des Moines, Iowa, to the Capitol.
Yep.
Got a speeding ticket there, which I really appreciate. And I wrote the state of Iowa how much it was one of those not a police stop, but a radar that they just time you and take your picture. Didn't like that. And then I went up to Madison, Wisconsin, and then Springfield, Illinois. Made that little loop, and it was the day I came back from that the Ryan Mallett situation broke, which was really sad. But anyway, I might make a state capitol run. I haven't been to inside the capitals in Indianapolis and Columbus, Ohio, and some of those Midwestern type cities.
Yeah, there's Indianapolis is one of my favorite towns that I've ever been to. Hopefully Arkansas plays in some NCAA tournament game there down the road at some point. And while Cal wasn't talking NCAA tournament yesterday on Pat McAfee, Tom, one of the things that he mentioned a variety of things, talked with Mac for about 30 minutes. One of the things he brought up kind of out of the blue is, I say out of the blue, he was asked about it, was his relationship with Hunter Yurachek. And he mentioned, Tom, that Hunter calls him like 4 times a week. I've noticed Dave say things about Hunter before that I didn't maybe hear in the previous administration. What have you thought on Hunter's focus? Like, football butters the bread. It makes the money for the athletics department, but it seems like that his baseball coach and his new basketball coach right now.
Well, that is a strong strength of Hunter Yurachek's, is the binding together of the coaches. That coaches thread from a few years ago. It was during COVID where we did some out-of-the-box type stories, and we had coaches on Zooms, just kind of here and there, and talking to Courtney Deifel and some of the other coaches about when they win big games or tournament games and stuff, the whole coaching thread would respond, and it's a pretty neat camaraderie to have, and I don't think it's very common among major college staff. So. Yeah. That's a feather in his cap. Hunter put his neck out there a little bit with the Sam Pittman at the end of the year. It felt like there was a lot of movement or chatter, about making a move at the top of football. And Hunter, basically said, "I'm not going to cut a coach's legs out this short into his tenure. You cannot get into a cycle of replacing a coach every 3 or 4 years. So this is a very big crucible year. Sometimes a lot of people will tie a football coach, hire to the AD. That happens a lot. And so this is going to be a very, very interesting year for UA athletics, particularly football.
Talking with Tom Murphy here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Tom is with Whole Hog Sports and the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Tom, Sam Pittman is going to be front and center coming up in, I guess, 3 weeks from now at SEC Media Days. What do you think he's ready to present to Arkansas fans about this upcoming season that we're, I think, 63 days out from? What do you think his big talking points are?
Yeah, if you look at the big picture, it's, we should have a more explosive offense. We have Bobby Petrino back. That's big news. Sam had the coaching acumen and the personal the self strength of their own character and their personality that they can handle hiring back a very popular coach who's been head coach here. And so he's dealt with that. And then, we got a lot of new skill players. We've got more attention going to be played on our offensive line. I keep looking at this over and over, and I think, they should be a little better offensively. The run game should be more explosive. Obviously, we think the passing game will be more explosive. And if Travis Williams and the defense can cook up the kind of numbers that they did last year, then Arkansas should be competitive. It was a down year, but think of all the close games they lost. So if they can reverse the results in some of those, maybe they could surprise. And so I think it's about having a better culture in your locker room, and he'll probably talk about that they're more of a team. That's a big deal for him. And I think the culture of the team got away from them a little bit last season.
Tom, before we let you go, I think I need to get your thoughts on Jen Schlossnagel's move in the last few days. He had a press conference yesterday. One of your buddies, Olin Buchanan, I thought asked him one of the most straightforward questions. It was like, so what do you say to Aggie fans that supported you through all this? And here's his response. What have you thought about not just his comments on Monday night, but also what's transpired since then, including his comments after the fact?
Right. Well, I think he probably was very well aware of the criticism he took for how he answered on game night, because no matter how you want to say, well, we just played a championship game, our kids are devastated, the truth is the rumors were out there, and you have to be ready to answer them, in a particular manner, and he didn't answer it very well. So I thought the only clip I watched yesterday was his response to Olin's question, which was well worded and an appropriate question. And he handled it so much better. His friend is Chris Del Conte, obviously. I thought Texas did A&M wrong with the timing of what they did on Monday, but that's kind of a Texas thing. And so I don't know. If they win, he'll be fine with Texas fans. But when they go to A&M the first time, that's going to be madcap, right?
Oh, it's going to be nuts. And even this upcoming football game was already going to be rocking in College Station. And then the 12th man that just got rated the #1 stadium in college football, according to EA Sports, is going to be it's going to be nuts. Tom, we'll leave it there, man. We appreciate your stuff this morning, and we will chat next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend.
So I mentioned Tuesday there. We're going to be at the Social Birdie on Tuesday in Branson, Missouri. New pickleball, golf, food. It's this awesome new place. So if you haven't heard of it, and if you're listening, and Branson's a great place, right? It's a great family place that you can hang out and do a lot of stuff across the city. But look no further than the Social Birdie, 1250 Branson Hills Parkway in Branson. Again, pickleball, golf, food, and more. Tommy and I are going to be doing the live show there on Tuesday. Their grand opening is June the 3rd. Go to thesocialbirdie.com and their Facebook for more information. So I want to go back to something Tom said there with Schlossnagle. He gets asked about, hey, what do you think about your comments toward that, the reporter? Here was his apology.
When the game ended, I want to publicly apologize to Richard Zane from Texags. He's a young reporter. He asked the question. That was an obvious question. I wish I could have answered that better. But in the moment, 30 minutes after the last pitch, all I could think about was our players. And I really wasn't in the mood to talk about myself or the future. So I apologize for that to Richard.
But if you were really thinking about the players there, you would have stayed. I'm sorry. And maybe this Texas job is sorted, but you got to a national championship game 3. Is the Texas job really that much better than what was happening in College Station? By the way, he had a lot of success in Fort Worth, too. So it's kind of jumping around a bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much out of that, Chuck, but
Well, it's the timing. It's the timing. It's not that he went to Texas. Because, look, anybody can leave whenever they want now. Mm-hmm. Players, coaches, anybody. And that's just how it works. I mean, he was under contract at Texas A&M. It's not like, it's not like he was just on a month-to-month deal with him. He was under contract, and Texas is having to buy that deal out for over $2.5 million. Things like that don't matter anymore. And I hate to say that, but let's just be honest. They don't. Guys can move around whenever they want. More power to them. We can too. But it's the timing. It's the fact that Texas, and I'm sure that the people close to the programs in both places knew what was going to happen. Agents talk. I'm sure coaches knew. My guess would be Tony knew after the ball game what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Agents talk, and it's the timing. If they'd waited 2 or 3 days, it still would have hurt. Still would have been big news. But might have been a little bit better. I don't know. It's easy from the outside looking in to say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but Texas knew what they were doing. I do know that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk more about what they've added to the league because they have added something. You may hate their guts, and rightfully so in some cases, but they have. I saw, now I don't know how accurate this is, Chuck, but a former Aggie by the name of J.B. Moss was saying more will come out, but recruiting kids from burner phones while playing in the national championship game is all-time greasy. I don't know that to be fact. Maybe that's just a former player that's ticked off.
I remember J.B. Moss.
Do you?
I remember J.B. Moss.
But yeah, that is. I thought that was an interesting social media post that he put out yesterday. If you've got some thoughts here on this Jim Schlossnagle stuff, you can jump in with us via the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. We've got more of that, more Cal and Dave Van Horn to get to in your Hog Update, plus a few more stupid stories or stuff that we will jump into as well. Before we do all of that coming up, I want to tell you about our friends at Gaston's White River Resort. Tommy always talks about him, and rightfully so. Clint has done a wonderful job with his family's business. And if you haven't been, in fact, I haven't been in a while, Tommy needs to take the staff. You need to go to gastons.com, give them a call at 870-431-5202. They've got awesome private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. They have great food, They've got fully equipped kitchens in a lot of them if you want to cook yourself. Great nature trail. They've got an airstrip. I don't know how many of you have planes, but for the select few and helicopters and stuff, I guess you can fly in as well. There have been some pretty notable people that have done that over the years. Again, Gastons.com. Check out all their fishing photos and videos on Facebook. They're really cool at Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time. Every time.
Make sure you're subscribed to the Hit That Line Podcast Network. If you do, the podcast will automatically download to your phone. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel Hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% and welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Dropping by to see Tommy and myself at the Social Birdie on Tuesday. JW, excited to see you. If you're in the Branson or ESPN 104.3 listening area, we'd love for you to stop by and see us. All right, on to your hog update. John Calipari was on Pat McAfee yesterday, about 30 minutes. Really good interview. Tyrese Halliburton was there with them, so it was a cool dynamic. I want you to listen to this stat. This is pretty wild on some of the draft percentages and money that Cal's players have made over the years.
70% of the players that we recruited in the last 15 years have been drafted. Damn. 73% of those 70%, Tyrese, have gotten to second contracts.
Jeez.
I believe we have 30% of the max contracts are my guys. 30%. Our kids have earned over $5 billion without endorsements, just NBA contract. And the great thing about NBA contracts, Tyrese will tell you, they're all guaranteed. The minute you signed it, that's what you're getting.
Chuck, that's insane that it's that high. And again, Tyrese Halliburton is a max player for the Indiana Pacers with McAfee, who has a huge Indiana following. Just remarkable, and he's got those at the ready anytime a recruit walks into his home.
Well, John Calipari is one of those coaches who not only knows the game but understands business, and it served him very well. And when you can go into a kid's home and tell him my players have made an aggregate $5 billion, that gets everybody's attention. The thing that he pointed, the key stat there was the number of players who've gotten second contracts. Those are the guys that are rich.
73% of his 70 players drafted, which is remarkable. So yeah, there's no question about it. And I mean, Oklahoma City, my favorite team, their best player is a Kentucky guy, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like with Isaiah and Jalen, one of their bright young players, Casey Wallace, Cal player. So. It is there's it's not few and far between when it comes to Kentucky guys. I think there's 20 something of them that are on NBA rosters right now, and just kind of typical, Chuck.
All right, I got a question for you, Thunder fan. How long before SGA's wearing the purple and gold?
Oh, don't start.
How long before SGA's a Laker? You know it's gonna happen.
He was a Clipper already. He likes the small town. What I think is the better question you have to ask yourself is,
he's the next Jordan. He's the next Michael Jordan.
That'd be nice.
He's that good. He's that good.
That'd be nice. I think what you have to ask yourself as an Oklahoma City fan, like LeBron fans asked themselves back in the day, could there be a reunion with Kevin Durant? Could Kevin come back home and win one for his true love, the Oklahoma City Thunder? I would.
If Kevin Durant was the player that Kevin Durant was when he played for the Thunder before, yeah, that'd be great.
He doesn't have to be, though. Shai's there. Jalen's there. Isaiah's there. He can ride coach or ride.
Look, when Kevin Durant played at Bud Walton Arena, I thought to myself, he may be the best player that's ever touched the floor here. But I'm going to tell you, during the latter stages of his career, I don't know that, I know he won a ring. He got a ring when he was with Golden State. That's a better way to put it. He got a ring. But I don't think he's the missing piece.
Well, if they want to do it young, that's probably a of a dream on my part.
You're gonna bring the OG back.
The OG,
bring the
man.
OG back.
If that would be pretty cool if it ended up happening on that part. Sounds like listening to Dave yesterday, there's a possibility of Kendall coming back, and I asked Tom about that. I'm just going to play. It's probably important to just play this clip real quick. Here is Dave Van Horn talking about Kendall Diggs and the possibility of him coming back to the campus.
And I was wondering if someone was going to ask me about Kendall. So, you look at Kendall's year, the first 14 games of the year, 15 games of the year, he's hitting like upper 300s, 380, 370. When he slid headfirst on a wet field or an overwatered field, whatever you want to call it, it was early in the game, and he kind of stuck and he hurt that shoulder. We all kind of groaned in the dugout. We didn't know at the time, and then he shook it off. Well, it's a complete tear in his labrum, and I think it's like front and back. So he is right now in the process of getting lined up to have surgery to get that fixed. So, yeah, he could still sign. He could still be drafted, and I think somebody might draft him. I mean, we'd love to have him back. He'll miss all fall, and it's his non-throwing shoulder.
So credit Kittle, he goes on for a little bit more. First off, credit Kittle for playing through that. I think we're kind of under the impression he wasn't fully healthy. We just got the tell from Dave. Second, I think that's something intriguing, like a good heart or Ezel situation. I don't know if it's going to play out that way, Chuck, but I am curious what Kendall decides to do with his future.
Yeah, that's a big decision for him. And that junior year for a player that's going to be drafted is such a difficult time for a lot of reasons. I mean, a lot of reasons. You got a lot of people in your ear. And then you get hurt. And you know that you have the type injury that could affect your draft status. So you just go play. You're going to play through it. You're not going to talk about it. Your numbers are going to dip. People are going to ask what's wrong. You're not going to say anything about it because you don't want that to be the cloud that hangs over you and affects your draft status.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss the whole year. You don't want to go ahead and have surgery. There's just a lot of things to consider in that draft year. We'll never know. But if something like this happens his freshman year, do you just do you say, hey, we're going to shut him down? We're gonna get this thing fixed. We got 2 more years with him. We want to make sure that we get the very best he's got. Timing's important in all this is what I'm trying to say. And yes, he gutted it out. And there's so many, again, angles to come at this from because of that draft year. But now that the word's out, now that, they know that surgery's coming, it does change things in terms of his draft status. I don't think it's, I think it's noteworthy perhaps that it was his college coach that announced this. I think that's an indicator that, they know that they've tried to help along the way to, make sure his draft status stayed as high as it could.
Yeah.
But they kind of know now what the situation is, and they sure would like to have him back.
We'll see what he does. That's your Hog Update, and it's brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Chuck, can you believe we're basically 2 months out, a little more from football season? It's one of the questions I asked Tom about. We're 3
weeks from media days, man.
Favorite time of the year. Cannot wait. But that's legitimately one of my favorite weeks. In part
I
of
sort
this,
of gathered by the high-pitched squeal.
Yeah,
you really liked it there.
It comes out from time to time. But
Can you do that again?
That's a one-time thing.
Somebody get that for a drop. Somebody get that. Ruskin and Zach, one of those guys get that for a drop.
It'll probably be they've got a guy that stays, some guy in Harrison, I think, Hacker in Harrison just pulls clips from our show and sends them to him. So that will probably air at some point from 2 to 7 this afternoon. But check the reason, again, not just excited for media days, but this football season. You got a great home schedule. Final game in Dallas and Jerry World, at least for a time. Don't know when that's ever gonna happen again. Opener in Little Rock and Thursday night. Then you got a full slate of college football that Saturday.
I want to circle back to what Tom was saying a minute ago because I think this is kind of the crux of the situation for the Razorbacks, has been the last 2 or 3 years. He mentioned close games. I think we're going to have more close games this year. And I think you look back to Pittman's, the year that they went to the Outback Bowl. They won those close games.
Mm-hmm.
then they lost a bunch of close games, and they've struggled to win close games. I think that's gonna tell the story. I believed when Petrino was the head coach that on game day he provided the winning edge. I don't know if an offensive coordinator can do that. I just don't know. But I do know these kids play for Coach Pittman. It's still very much his team, and they will run through a wall for him. So I'm hopeful.
Yep, Petrino had a really good record, above 500 in these close games. We'll see how much that impacts the upcoming season. Hour 3 is next. More draft, more DVH.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This season, you pick the deals during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Get a new compact and save $2,300 cash back. Plus, choose 0 for 72 or add a free loader. You pick. Get 0% on select round balers and free net wrap. Or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member? Stack $2,500 off these already beefy offers. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
This is The Morning Rush.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Get up to $6,000 off on the 2024 GMC Sierras or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,000 off or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Robert.
And this is Elizabeth, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
The only local, family, and alumni-owned Razorback store.
Yep, our names are on Senior Walk, and we understand what that charging Razorback means.
From new students to season ticket holders, we have everything you need.
From floor coverings, wall art, game room items, and other stuff to decorate your home or dorm room.
To things for your pet or all sorts of clothing, we have it all.
We feature brands like Champion, Cutter and Buck, Tommy Bahama, Columbia, and many, many others, all in the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
You know, your dad's side's starting to go viral.
Hey, what, is that a new thing? Can I get a pill or a shot for that?
Anyway, you can call us at 479-STADIUM or 479-782-3486.
Or drop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville. Or if you need to, you can shop us online at them web things.
Dad, let me do this. What he means is our website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hogs.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The name Newmeyer means something in the River Valley. Rib Room and Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. But have you been to their new establishment, the Whippoorwill? Unbelievable Southern food right across the street from Papa's. Southern cooking at its finest, like burgers, chicken fried steak, Mimi's meatloaf, fried green tomatoes, and more. Go to whippoorwillrestaurant.com to check out their menu and daily specials. Newmeyer's Whippoorwill Restaurant, now a part of the Newmeyer family.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see plenty of sunshine. Our high this afternoon will be into the upper 80s. Later on tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, and overnight low will drop down into the upper 60s. Friday, sunny skies, low to mid 90s. Saturday, we could see a few stray showers or storms across the north. Highs will be in the mid to upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 63 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
When my teams win, 6 guys get drafted. How about we win? Get to a Final Four. We win a national title. All 6, 7 of you were eat. We're going to have 4 in this draft. If we'd have won 3 games in the NCAA tournament, we'd have had 6, maybe 7 in the draft. Winning matters.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
Just got a text here on the McClarty Daniel hotline from Eric, who's listening in Memphis this morning. Was this the worst NBA draft class of all time? No, I don't think so. But
Time
you didn't.
will tell. Time will tell.
You could be right on that. But you didn't know any of the players, right? I turned it off. I really did. The interesting thing to me was not what happened during the draft last night, outside of Calipari being on the screen and seeing where Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham went. The interesting thing to me was more of what Cal had to say on Pat McAfee yesterday, like what he just said about winning and how sometimes it attributes to getting guys drafted, more guys drafted, I should say. So we'll talk about some of the things he had to say. For him, on a night like last night, it is graduation night for his players. I know that's something that he touched on that he enjoyed, and it's just like, hey, everyone remembers graduation.
I kind of get inspired. Like, I'll be at the draft tonight, and it's graduation night, and I'm going to go watch the students walk across that stage. And I've done it since, when I get a hug, that's part of the deal. You're coming with me, but when you get up on that stage, I better get a hug somewhere. But look, I've had a ball doing it. I wasn't ready to stop.
Chuck, would you go seersucker? Would you go all out if you were getting drafted?
I would. Yeah. I would probably go all out if I was one of those guys. I love the Cal show. That's the thing that I like. He is a great showman, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. He is comfortable in any setting. Cameras, microphones, massive media gatherings, or just one-on-one. Pick your situation. He's got the cadence of a preacher. He's got the vocabulary of an English teacher, and he can let it rip, man. I mean, he can let it rip.
He shared something interesting yesterday that I want to get into coming up. We've got plenty of Cal to talk about, some more from Dave Van Horn, and we might jump into Clay's column as well on the late Hammering Hank that we touched on a little bit yesterday. Before we do all that, I want to tell you about our friends at Uncorked. There's nothing like it in the River Valley. They've got all these different selections, great entrees, great wine, beer, craft, cocktail selections like the chef special this weekend is the grilled mahi-mahi. They've got live music consistently. Scott and Chef Jazz and their team do a great job making sure that you have a great time. It's a great weekend date spot, great place to watch the game. They've got big TVs, and they have it all for you at Uncorked. Stop by and see them again in Fort Smith. That is Uncorked, located at 5501 Phoenix Avenue.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Chuck, something else I want to talk with you about later on is also the Al Michaels AI that NBC is using that he was like blown away by, which I thought was interesting. But anytime Cal talks, Arkansas fans listen, and rightfully so. And he chatted yesterday with about 30 minutes with Pat McAfee. I have not heard him say this before prior to yesterday, but he's always been a guy that I've listened to that says, hey, you need to go to the NBA. You need to go to the draft. You need to take care of your family, do this, do whatever. But he kind of countered that a little bit yesterday. Take a listen.
How they do this, some kids leave early. Are you ready for this statement? Earlier than I think they should. You don't need to leave early now. You're getting paid. Stay and make sure you're ready to go in that league like our guys. In the past, if a kid had to go, I got a child, I want to do this, I'm fine with it. And even up to this point, I haven't argued with an agent or a family that they want them to leave. PJ, Emmanuel Quickly, they stayed. Look what happened for them. Willie Cauley-Stein stayed, ends up being the 7th pick of the draft. It's just a different day and age, and my teams, we have to get older. We were too young last year. I had 7 freshmen. Everybody else has old teams. So hopefully I've learned we're going to have a little bit of more experienced players, yet I still want to have the best freshmen in the country.
Now, I want to be clear. He's not saying guys should stay 5 or 6 years. I think he wants to cycle that out based on his comments last week. But for guys that are maybe that could be lottery picks down the road, Chuck, or could be higher draft picks. Now that money is financially available for them in college, you're going to see more like that and happen. And it goes back to, I think Matt Jones and you guys had this discussion during football season that the college product is better in a lot of cases because guys are sticking around a little more. And you'll hopefully see that, particularly in Arkansas's basketball program.
Well, I think it's going to be a case-by-case basis. Mm-hmm. I don't think, for example, more NIL money or greater revenue sharing would have kept Reed Sheppard at Kentucky or kept Rob Dillingham at Kentucky. I think there's a time to go. Now, I do think that there are players, and evidently the kid from Florida Atlantic, John L. Davis, there was some question about whether or not he might go pro. My guess would be, minus NIL, if that was taken out of the equation, a player like that, and I'm just pulling his name because it's right here in front of us.
Yeah.
He's not the only one. A player like that might be apt to go pro. But, we still see in the draft, and we saw it again last night, these teams will draft kids at a very young age. I mean, 18, 19 years old. They could do it younger. They would. And so there's still going to be, and I think he's I think Calipari's right when he talks about this. The idea that, Cal said, well, I'm not going to do it with all freshmen. And the narrative became, well, he's not going to sign any more freshmen.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He said he's not going to sign as many. You're still going to have them. And I think on the draft or around the draft, that's the time when he reminds people that, this is still what I do. That just because I'm bringing in a guy like, the kid from Florida Atlantic or some of these others, doesn't mean that I'm going to stop signing freshmen. It doesn't mean that we're still not going to have the goal of, as he puts it, changing families' lives. I mean, that's still – he said it that night. He said it ad nauseum at Kentucky, that he's going to be players first. So I think it's a reminder, or I would wonder if it's a reminder to people that, this is still who I am. We're going to change things to an extent, but this is still going to be a big, big part of what we do.
Yeah. And I'm watching last night, Chuck, and again, I'm watching it with the sole purpose of, I say sole, two things I'm watching for. Who Oklahoma City Thunder is going to draft, and I got to be honest, when they did.
With the 12th pick in 2024 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Nikola Topic.
I had no clue who that was. No idea. And again, it's not, if he turns out being a great player that helps net an NBA Finals win, then I'm ecstatic, but no clue he was. And the second, again, with what Cal was on full display last night, I don't know what the numbers are going to end up being, but I have to think that, like, with so many players that were drafted last night that you didn't know about, and I know that the NBA is shifting more towards European players and international players, but I just don't think that's going to necessarily translate to people watching events like this last night, and they're questioning again what their teams look like this next season.
Oh, I just think it was a year where there weren't a lot of the glamour names. It's cyclical, year to year. There may be hotter names next season. I don't really know what the draft board's going to look like next year. I didn't know what it looked like going into last night, to be perfectly honest with you. But I just think that's a year-to-year deal. Look, the NBA's doing fine. I mean, the key thing in all these cuts you played about Cal a minute ago, the key thing in all this is that NBA money's guaranteed.
Yep. It's
guaranteed. If you sign for $100 million, you're getting $100 million. And that's and it's a different subject. But when people talk about load management, players taking nights off and things like that, the contracts are so big now in the NBA that this load management stuff is about extending careers another 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Because if you're making $30 million a year, playing an extra 2 seasons, I mean, do the math. And this is, I don't know how fast they burn through it. It sounds like a lot of them go through it in a hurry. But it's generational wealth. It's not just getting rich. It's generational wealth. And there are, it's just incredible, the money that the NBA has made. And regardless of whether or not they may have had a down year in the draft, the NBA is making more money in the next 60 seconds, Ty, than you and I will make in our lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
So combined and with multipliers involved. So they know what they're doing.
Chuck, is Tommy on load management this week from radio?
I don't know if he's on load management or not, but no, I think Tommy's trying to get to the finish line. I don't think he's trying to extend his career.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to get to that number so he can get out.
All right, let's talk to Ryan in Hot Springs on the McClarty Daniel hotline. He has a thought for us on this Too Stupid Thursday. What's up, Ryan?
Have you been keeping up with anything going on with the Tennessee Titans? And I guess it's kind of both the city and the college of Houston. Have you kept up with any of that?
Like
with the jerseys and the copyright stuff?
So, that man, I haven't heard anything since that last update about a month or so ago. I'd seen it on TikTok and whatever. One of the helmet guys. Y'all follow him at all? He keeps up with all that. But anyway, with all the uniforms and stuff. But anyway, they had done a deal, and basically Tennessee was trying to do was a cease and desist, whatever, on them. And it's looking like the city's probably going to be able to win that case because they've got a history of being able to prove their city colors. I was just wondering if y'all had heard about that, and I just thought that situation was kind of dumb. I don't understand the Tennessee's urge to keep that away from Houston.
Well, a little bit of background for those who don't know. If you're old enough to remember the Houston Oilers, you know they wore the baby blue uniforms, and Dan Pastorini was the quarterback, and they had the helmets, and it was a great-looking uni, just to be honest. Iconic in many respects. It's certainly in the city of Houston. So they moved to Tennessee, obviously changed the uniform, all that stuff. Well, the University of Houston, on certain games, will wear jerseys that are almost identical to the ones the Oilers wore back in the day. And the Oilers franchise, or the Titans franchise now, has sent a cease and desist order to the University of Houston. And, I don't know exactly what the University of Houston has said, but it's the equivalent of, okay, whatever. And they've just kind of kept doing it. And so they're in a squabble over it. And for those people who are into uniforms, this is, this is a big case.
Evidently, Ryan.
So I guess we'll see what happens. It is a great-looking uniform, and the Titans are being petty, because if it meant that much to them, they'd still be wearing
them. Yeah, that's just – come on. I think it's Amy Adams-Strunk is their own. Come on, Amy Adams. It's not that big a deal. By the way, speaking of the Titans, Chuck, have you seen the renderings for their new stadium? My goodness. And like the Bills Stadium, obviously Jerry got it going with AT&T Stadium, and since then there's been the Los Angeles one. You've got a few others here and there. I mean, have you seen what that's going to look like? In just a few,
I've not seen him, but I'm sure it's spectacular.
It's unbelievable. It's going to house future Final Four and whatnot. I mean, Nashville's already a great spot for the SEC tournament, and it will be for other big-time events like the Super Bowl and the Final Four and whatnot. Big-time event coming up next month in the Olympics. The United States competing in events like they usually do. Chuck, I don't know if you've seen this. AI is the newest thing right now, and technology. And honestly, it scares the crap out of me because the fact that someone could recreate my voice and just voice it on air acting like as I said, it just terrifies me. Al Michaels is going to be a part of custom recaps on your NBC app during the Olympics. Listen to this is not Al speaking. Listen to this AI regenerated voice of Al Michaels, just an example.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to your daily Olympic recap, your personal rundown of yesterday's most thrilling Olympic moments. Since you're a swimming fan, let's head right to the pool. Team USA secured a stunning victory in the men's 4x100 meter medley relay, smashing the world record. Over at the diving venue, Krista Palmer showcased resilience and skill, overcoming past knee surgeries to qualify for the women's springboard final.
Chuck, that's all AI. That's not him. It's not like Herbie and Fowler that spent hours upon hours voicing for NCAA. Apparently they've come up with technology that, like, if you click on a certain sport or recap, Al will be talking to you about it. Again, it scares the crap out of me, but it's stupid how far technology has come where this is even conceivable right now.
Well, I don't know that stupid's the right word, but scary sure is.
Yeah.
They've done some things that I don't know that any of us ever imagined. Now, when you said going in, that this is a creation, I could tell the difference. But if you'd not said it, I'm not sure I would have known. And that's the point. I mean, that's the point. If, I hear an AI-generated recording's not the right word, but if I hear your voice AI generated and I know in advance that it's not really you, I'm going to notice. I'm going to be listening for that. But the point of all this is, and the way you fool people is, you get them into a setting where they don't know that it's artificially generated. And it sounds enough like the guy that you could certainly, that could have passed for Al Michaels. I listen to and have because it's my business. I've listened to these guys my entire life. So I would have been fooled. Again, going in after you said it, I could tell the difference. But they certainly are, I mean, scary is the right word. I will put it, I'll certainly give you that. Hey, before we go on, let me remind you the Market Moment podcast coming up. John and Eli this week talk about the hot topics of the financial world. Inflation seems to be right at the top of the list. They're also going to discuss trending tweets from the financial world, like how historical data is useful, but in the end, it's still impossible to predict the market. You can check out the latest episode of the Market Moment podcast by heading to market-moment.com. And we'll remind you that Mach 1 Financial Group is an SEC-registered advisor. They're located in Rogers, and for full disclosures, you can visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
We don't talk much UCA Bears on this program or Lake City, Arkansas, but I want to congratulate Gavin Stone, who threw a complete game yesterday for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hadn't been done by a rookie since 2013, Chuck. I know I wouldn't put you necessarily in the biggest Dodgers camp by any stretch of the imagination, but anytime that you have someone do this.
Bouncing ball towards the middle. Lux is there. Long throw and a complete game.
Got to give him credit. And so congrats to Gavin, former Bear, and for, I guess, a Lake City kid as well.
Yeah, that's hey, complete games are novel right there. That's for sure.
Take that anytime you can. So again, haven't mentioned that this morning. Couldn't put in the Hog update because he's not a Razorback, but did want to make sure he got.
Good for him. That's great.
His just due. Chuck, I saw your Cardinals won again yesterday. Game 2 in the Braves.
Split a doubleheader.
Yeah.
Split a day-night doubleheader.
Mm-hmm. So we got a chance to chat with Jonathan Papelbon a little bit about that last week. They're right, and I know that the Brewers just traded for Arkansas Razorback, former Hog, Dallas Keuchel. They're right up there with the Brewers right now.
Well, the Brewers are still better. I mean, the Cardinals are they're behind Milwaukee, and I don't suspect they're going to win the division, but they could, they might squeeze into the playoffs. They're not a World Series contender, but they're playing pretty well. I mean, particularly when you consider the way they started. They were just brutal at the beginning. It was like it was going to be a repeat of last year. And again, I still don't think they're a World Series contender, but it's nice to see them win some games.
Yep. Hopefully they'll get into the playoffs. You never know. Sometimes the Cardinals are one of those franchises that sometimes they head in the playoffs not as the highest thought of team, and then they.
Yeah, but see, that's what they want you to think. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. The Cardinals were the team to beat. Either the Cardinals, the Dodgers, or the Giants were always the team to beat. The Braves, you could throw them in there too. You don't put the Cardinals in that group anymore.
Yeah, definitely changed over the last handful of years. All right, we got more baseball to discuss, but this time we're going to stay in Fayetteville with what Dave Van Horn had to say yesterday with the media for about 45 minutes. He gave his thoughts on what Tony Vitello, how he complimented him. We'll share that coming up in just a bit. Speaking of compliments, we get compliments all the time about the work that Sean does with the Fenceman. Our Fenceman Friday picks coming up tomorrow. Sean and his team out working today. They'll be out working tomorrow. And if I had to guess, they'll probably be out working this weekend on small residential repairs, large commercial jobs. You need a new fence. You need a custom fence. Sean and his team at the Fenceman can help you out. 479-782-3936. That's the Fenceman. 479-782-3936. If it involves fencing, he ain't afraid with it. The Fenceman, he ain't afraid of no work. So plenty of stuff to get into from Dave, including the Tony Vitello, plus about their current recruiting right now.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
There's never been anything like this.
This is the Morning Rush.
This season, you pick the deals during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Get a new compact and save $2,300 cash back. Plus, choose 0 for 72 or add a free loader. You pick. Get 0% on select round balers and free net wrap. Or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member? Stack $2,500 off these already beefy offers. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
This is the Morning Rush.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get financing as low as 0.9% for 36 months with approved credit and $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during our long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My boss.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is
discounts, huge cash back, and free add-ons at WT Equipment. Again, you got to ask about all these things right now, whether it's New Holland tractors, equipment, and hay tools. Take advantage during their ready-to-roll sales event. Take your pick of savings on select New Holland Robel round balers. You're going to get up to 50 years of innovation and save big time. There's always chores around the house, around the farm, whatever you need. Again, think WT Equipment. You've got items right now that are 0% for up to 72 months. A free front end loader and pocketing tens of thousands of dollars in cash back. Either way, you save at WT Equipment, and I know you trust what they have in New Holland Equipment. So we heard what Tony Vitello go ahead.
Hang
Chuck.
on. I'm just thinking about you on a tractor.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about you on a tractor. You spoke that like a true farm boy right there. Have you been on a tractor, Ty?
Yeah, I know that I sometimes.
No, really. Have you been on a tractor?
Legitimately.
Tell me the truth.
Yes, legitimately. In right outside of Morrilton, Hattieville, St. Vincent area.
Okay.
Big old Flint Martin Farm, baby. That's the family farm.
Well, you talk like a farm boy, so that's that's the reason I was asking.
Yeah, people think Ty Richards. They say, "Hey, that's a blue collar kid growing up."
Farm boy, just country boy.
Country boy, yeah, country club boy, more like it. Yeah, I need to get back on. I
didn't mean to throw you there.
No.
I was just picturing you on a tractor as you were talking about that.
I need to get back to my roots, Chuck. I need to I give up this radio thing and
get back to the tennis court or the soccer field or wherever it is you grew up.
There it is. Yeah,
All right.
I played a lot of soccer growing up.
Okay.
Definitely did. I don't know if you heard Dave's comments. I don't know you as a listener if you've heard Dave's comments just yet. He got asked about Tony Vitello. Apparently, he didn't hear it live, but he did hear it after the fact.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Yesterday, probably midday, I got a screenshot of what was said. So I pulled it up and tried to find it. Just wanted to hear what he had to say. And I really appreciate it. It's bittersweet because, they won it and we didn't. And, people are happy there and people are not happy here.
If you miss, and I think a lot of you know what Tony said, had great things to say about your program, said that Dave was the best coach in college baseball, and Dave's just reacting to it right there. Now, Chuck, maybe this is just the pessimist in me, but I felt like that was Tony in a way kind of twisting the knife a little bit. And again, I don't know that to be fact, and maybe that's just me taking it a bridge too far.
That way.
Okay. Well, that's probably accurate, but I'm just still pissed off.
I think what was significant is that he did not mention Schlossnagle. I mean, Schlossnagle, he coached 4 years for Schlossnagle. He just played him, just beat him. If he was going to talk about a former coach, it would have been Schloss.
That's a good point.
To me, it was significant that he brought up Dave. And it was significant that he did not bring up Jim Schlossnagle. And that's why I said a little bit earlier, I wonder if Tony knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, because he, I guess, coached with him at TCU right before he got to Arkansas, Chuck, if I remember that timeline correctly. So that's the relationship stemming that Schlossnagle had with Chris Del Conte that Tony also had with Chris Del Conte. That's why there was speculation prior to this past week if it would be Vitello or Schlossnagle possibly that would end up at Texas working for Del Conte. We know after the fact it is now that. But yeah, that is – do you think that's a good question. Did he avoid it because of that, or did he just like working for Dave more? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, look, people can read too much into that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point is Tennessee won the national championship. I have to admit, though, Monday, after Texas announced that Pierce was going to be fired, I did wonder in my mind, is the consolation prize tonight the Texas job? Now, as we know now, this had been in the works for a while. What would have been really interesting would have been if Texas A&M had won. What if A&M had won? Would he have done it? Would he have done it? Apparently so. I mean, that to me, and again, we'll never know. And I hate hypotheticals, generally speaking, but it's just too juicy right here because this is a major deal between Texas and Texas A&M, and I'm enjoying standing aside and watching it.
Texas is like the hottest girl in high school that's always in the midst of drama that all the guys are always wondering about. They don't want to take home to their mom because she's nuts, and she just stole her bitter rival's boyfriend from right out from under her.
Ty, it's why your friends don't bring their hot girlfriends around you, because they know there's a chance you're going to take them. And so that's the that's kind of how Texas was in all this.
Listen,
they're like you are.
I wasn't going to go there. Those are your words, not mine.
Well,
but you're accurate in that assessment. I don't think there's any question about that. He says tongue in cheek. Hey, this morning we're brought to you by our friends at Farm Credit. Do you need to spruce up that existing home or build a brand new one? You can do so with Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. 25 locations across the state. You can always go online to myaglender.com and stop by any of those locations to get the info you need. Start building your family future and memories today. Get Farm Credit of Western Arkansas, 25 locations across the state, and myaglender.com. All right, we got our SEC update coming up a bit. We'll talk more of what Jim Schlossnagle had to say about going from College Station, Texas to Austin, Texas. He's gone from Fort Worth to Austin, or to College Station, then Austin. Quite a merry-go-round. We'll get into that and more when we return.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Cheering for the other SEC schools is like cheering for the devil because he's in the Bible. I'm not going to do it.
This is the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
Tommy Craft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Hawks! Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. West Arc Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact West Arc Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call West Arc Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade, another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
But except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
So Jim Schlossnagle has his press conference yesterday. The new Texas Longhorns head baseball coach, former Aggie coach, former TCU coach. And he gets asked by a reporter from Texas, Olin Buchanan. Think of Olin as like the Tom Murphy, Bob Holt of Texas A&M. Here was his response to being asked, Coach, what do you tell all the Texas A&M fans?
Well, I didn't intentionally mislead them. And that's a very fair question for you to ask because that is what I said. In that moment, that's exactly how I felt. At 50 years old, I love TCU. My children grew up there, Fort Worth. I was there 18 years, and it had to be a very unique situation for me to leave that at 50 years old. I love Coach Garrido, and I hope I get to coach here for a long time, but I don't really have any plans on coaching to 75, 78 years old. So I made that choice because it aligned both personally and professionally with what I had going on at the time, and I loved it. And I dove in with every single ounce of me to help A&M have the very best baseball program it can possibly have. And that investment lasted through the last pitch of the national championship game. It never wavered, not 1 second. I don't care what anybody says. As Chris likes to say, we have jobs and try to run a business on other people's passion. And if I had left Texas A&M for some other school in a different part of the country, the interesting text messages and messages that I got yesterday probably wouldn't have happened.
Oh, give me a break. This idea that he just, after the national championship game and after he kind of had a chance to compose himself, then decided to go to Texas is a load of you-know-what. This thing was planned out several days, several weeks before. There's no one that can tell me otherwise. I don't care what Crystal Conte says. I don't care what Jim Schlossnagle says. This kid owns an apology to every single one of those Texas A&M. You cannot tell me with a straight face, with a polygraph on him, that is the truth of how it played out. Can't do that. And if you're a Texas A&M Aggie and you bleed, and I don't know why you bleed maroon, but if you do, then I can't forgive him. I know that God says to forgive, but in this situation, Big C, it is tough for me to look at those players and say, you know what, you need to take the high road with your old coach on this one.
I just don't see how you could coach 100% and give it your all while you're, pretty much thinking about taking another job. That whole postseason run. I mean, they obviously made it far. It didn't affect them, but
oh, don't worry, they'll get him back with bubbles in College Station at Bluebell Park whenever they return. That'll scare Coach Schlossnagle, is the amount of bubbles that he will get shot at him. That's the dumbest tradition. And they have a lot of dumb traditions in Coltland, Texas, College Station, Colt Station, Texas. But the bubbles at the baseball game is one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen with a college baseball program. All right, so that's that baseball coach. What about your baseball coach? Some of the other things that he had to say. Hey, so they're in the midst of recruiting right now, and they're not done. They're still active and trying to get a player or two, even maybe a big fish.
We're still pretty active, honestly, but I can't put a number on it because there's getting ready to be a lot more movement. You're going to see some movement from a couple teams in Texas, and some of them might jump from one team to the other, or maybe this is their time to get out and do something else, and there'll be some big names, but you're talking a lot of money for some of these kids that are going to be out. I mean, a lot. So I don't think people realize what's gone on the NIL scene in college baseball when you're talking $200,000, $300,000, $450,000 to get a player.
Come on, Jace Lavalette. Come on, Grahovic, however you say his name. A couple guys on that Texas A&M roster that have entered the portal that would be bad Arkansas Razorbacks if they're interested. A lot of SEC teams will be interested. And some Texas players, too. You got to remember, not all of them want to play for Jim Schlossnagle. Now, some of them might. Maybe a lot of them will, but not all of them. So keep an eye on Texas A&M and the Texas roster because you might have your chance to get a guy or two from one of those situations, I think. We'll have to wait and see if it ends up playing out like you hope it would. But, again, I go back to what Schlossnagle said Monday night.
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you.
I think every Texas A&M fan thinks he's selfish for leaving College Station for Austin for their bitter rival. But it goes back to the Texas thing. Hey, go back to your high school days. Everyone has them. Maybe you can't remember them as much, but it was that hot girl that everyone always found drama with some way, shape, or another. You weren't always a big fan of them. You sure as heck weren't taking her home to mom or sisters, but you talked about her. We're talking about Texas right now. All right, that is your SEC updates. Brought to you by our friends at Burn Pools and Spas. Red, white, and blue sale going on. You've got a chance to buy an in-ground pool and get a heater absolutely free. So that's one deal. What about saving $1,500 off of above-ground pools from Burn Pools and Spas? And the semi-in-ground pools, monthly payments at just $200. Get a endless pool at Burns, and you'll get free workout accessories worth $700. Stop in at their Fort Smith, Springdale, and their newest location in Greenland. We do more than just build pools. We build long-term relationships. BurnPools.com. That's BurnPools.com. All right, so heard this a couple times last night. Who's your favorite NBA team draft? I don't even know who the guy was that Oklahoma City drafted at 12. The thing I want to know more about Oklahoma City is what's going to happen with Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams. Now, it sounds like from Brandon Rabar that they're going to pick up his contract, and I'm talking about Isaiah in this situation.
Still up in the air. I obviously think it's going to happen. Like I said, Isaiah Joe right now is on a bargain contract for the Thunder, which as they make more moves, we just saw them go out and trade for Alex Caruso. They have $32 million of cap space, and we all anticipate that they're going to use that cap space to improve the roster. So having a guy like Isaiah Joe on that contract and the impact he brings is really, really valuable for the team.
Make the right move, Sam Presti. Keep him. Now, Big C, your Dallas Mavericks did not have a first-round draft pick last night. Where do they draft tonight?
58.
58. You have any idea who you want with the final pick? Please don't tell me Bronny James. Please don't tell me Bronny James.
The only reason, and I'm not a huge fan of LeBron, don't get me wrong, but if that would be the only reason I would want Bronny James is just to get LeBron possibly, but I don't think that's happening. I think that was just fool's gold. I don't know, really. Last year, the Mavs, it seemed like they had what they needed in the playoffs until they ran up against the Celtics. They need some better three-point shooters. Luka and Kyrie, you got to have somebody else, and it looks like they're going to get rid of Hardaway, which he's an okay three-point shooter, but he kind of choked there in the playoffs, just went completely MIA. I would like to see somebody like that, somebody like an Isaiah Joe, honestly, somebody who can knock it down from pretty much anywhere.
That's another place that's close to here in Arkansas, so I don't think that. I mean, I like where he's at in Oklahoma City. It's close. It's 2.5 hours from me. I think it's 3.5 from Fayetteville. I don't want Isaiah to get traded, but if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, you'd love to have Isaiah on your roster with the spacing that you could have for Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and you mentioned the possibility of LeBron James, which I get your vantage point perspective. The only reason you'd want Bronny is for LeBron and the chance to have that reunion with Kyrie and LeBron. I don't know if it's going to – I have no idea what LeBron's intentions are. And I know that not Chris Paul. What's his – Clutch. Help me with Rich Paul, excuse me. Rich Paul, his agent, was talking about that him and LeBron and Bronny aren't a package deal. I kind of find that a little far-fetched. But that's what agents do. They talk, they chatter. In some cases, they just flat-out lie. And I think that's a flat-out lie from Rich Paul. Just my opinion. Now, I stated earlier, I would love to see Kevin Durant. I don't know if Kevin's going to want to stay in Phoenix with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. I'd love to see Kevin come home. Come back to Oklahoma City, help these young Bucks, help 2 Arkansas Razorbacks win a championship. Win one where you started, brother. Win one where you started. I'd love to have you back in Oklahoma City. That'd be so cool to see Kevin come back and team up with 2 Arkansas Razorbacks, one of the brightest young players in the NBA, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Alex Caruso and all these other guys. That'd be awesome.
I really enjoyed watching Durant when he was on the Thunder.
It was a different time. Yeah. And Chuck said earlier, like when he came into Bud Walton Arena, that was one of the better players that he saw. KD was a dude, man. And in college, as a freshman, I think that Rick Barnes team went to the Elite Eight. He was a lot of fun to watch. Now, NBA-wise, Cal front and center last night. It's cool to see him talk about a variety of things, including, hey, just win, baby, so we can eat.
When my teams win, 6 guys get drafted. How about we win? Get to a Final Four. We win a national title. All 7 of you will eat. We're going to have 4 in this draft. If we'd have won 3 games in the NCAA tournament, we'd have had 6, maybe 7 in the draft. Winning matters.
Well, he's won on the draft side. 41 first-round picks, 27 of them top 15, 4 first overalls. You think about Karl-Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, just to name a few. Some Arkansas Razorbacks, maybe Boogie Flan goes in the first round next year. Hopefully Trevin gets a chance. He's thinking about, hey, I was a guy that's possibly going to be a first-round pick after or before my injuries this season. Maybe I can get it to that point with Cal. There's a lot of time. We got 62, 63 days out from football, even further for basketball. But based on the reaction we've gotten, sure seems like there's more excitement for basketball than football. Have I gauged that correctly, Big C? Is there more excitement for basketball than football?
Yes, I would say so. Because the Cal factor, you know what Cal comes with. You know what he's already done. The players he's gotten. Football's closer, obviously. So I think once football gets here, people will obviously their attention will be more towards football. But I think at this point in time right now, yeah, I'd say basketball is at the front of people's minds.
Chuck had an interesting and good point earlier about close games. Arkansas is going to be in some close games this fall, if I had to put some money on it. They weren't able to capitalize last year. We know about 4-8. We know about the road losses, how close they were, especially in Alabama and at LSU. Special teams going to be a factor too. More Cam Little to rely on. We had Jake Bates on a little while ago. I don't know. I think it's Shipley. They brought another kicker in. They got to get that shored up because it didn't exactly look great during spring. I know they brought in a kicker. I'm forgetting where, but in these key situations, having Bobby Petrino helps, but you need to execute on special teams in Scott Fountain's department. Speaking of football, Roman Harper, former Alabama Crimson Tide and longtime NFL defensive back, is going to join us tomorrow. Roman, he's talked a little bit about playing Matt Jones, one of our coworkers, which is going to be fun to discuss. And he's a golfer as well, so we might jump into that as he's going to join us at 7. Hoping Sidney Moncrief joins us tomorrow, and I'm going to try and hopefully get on Oliver Miller next week. We'll see how it goes. But for now, we step aside. For Big C, for Chuck Barrett, I'm Ty. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We're back in these chairs tomorrow at 6 a.m.